with these people.
Oh,
You
give
know
me
we're
these
live.
people.
Long day behind you, good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile in your head. Come on in, the door's open, you'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and let our stories your ear. Cause we're the talk at the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk at the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk at the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk at the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
Alrighty, and welcome to Talk of the Tavern. We're here in the tavern tonight. We're going to be talking about unconditional love. And Trin, it is a special occasion because you're here. That's the only thing special about tonight. Thank you, Gary, for throwing those bits. Appreciate it. Let's raise.
Hi, Gary.
And Trin did say hi to
Pepper
you there.
Garden cheered. X250.
Hi, Trin.
Wow, that's impressive, Gary. Well done. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Oh. Clink. Colonel Clink. I know nothing.
They're supposedly bringing back Hogan's Heroes.
Aren't they all dead?
Well, that's why they're bringing them back. They're raising them.
Zombie heroes.
Not much. What's going on with you guys? Tonight we're talking about unconditional love. Love without boundaries or conditions. No matter what the other person does, you're going to love them anyway. No matter what they do, you're going to let them keep doing it. No matter how horrible it is, you're going to let them treat you like shit no matter what, fucking you over again and again and again. Because love.
No.
So let's talk about, that's what unconditional love, by the way, is. You accept somebody absolutely as they are and love them no matter what. So, to quote Penn and Teller, bullshit or not.
We should have got them on tonight. What are they doing?
And
Teller wouldn't talk though.
Jewel pops in live from the hospital. They haven't come up with a discharge plan yet. One rehab has rejected Jamin already. That's right, he was supposed to be going home today, wasn't he? He ain't going home today. So by discharge, he's heading to a rehab, Jewel? Is that the case? Aaron, what's your thought on unconditional love? Did I describe it well enough, or do you want to give some direct thoughts on anything ever?
Unconditional love is much like worship. If you look up like the technical definition of worship, it's unconditional love.
Then it is very like it.
Yeah. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Why? Why is it bullshit? How come? Because I've had a lot of family members in the past. I remember one aunt told me, it's unconditional love, and because of that, we can not talk for years, and when we do talk, I still love you.
What?
Okay.
Or how many parents have we heard say to their child, no matter what you do, I'll always love you?
I don't say that.
Did you ever?
No.
Have you ever said that to your boy, Aaron?
No.
Have you ever said I love you to your boy? Because really, this is actually an intervention.
Click. No. Freaking no. Yes, I've told the boy I love him, but.
But there's conditions, damn it.
No. Okay. What's his name again? That's the big question.
Yours or
Because
mine?
I've been walking around for years and nobody actually says his name out loud.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to summon him, especially if he's already in the damn room.
Right.
No, he's really there. So yeah, Andrew, what's your thoughts on unconditional love? Have you had a time where you did believe in this sort of thing?
I don't remember that far back. Oh my god. Oh. No, I love the cats unconditionally.
No. What if they were urinating on the stove on a daily basis?
I'd love them, they just couldn't live here.
There we go.
There's a difference.
What if they're shitting in your mouth when you're sleeping?
I think they do that now.
Trin says...
That would explain why the breath is so bad in the morning.
Okay. Trin says, I've been raised that no matter what, you should love your child, but you don't have to like them. Like my grandma loves my mom, but she doesn't like her. Some thoughts on that, guys? Andrea, you want to start with that one?
No.
You know you got to participate on some level tonight in this
Why
one.
do I have to start? I don't want to start.
You don't. Aaron started last time. I was just giving you a chance to.
That just sounds stupid.
Why? Which part?
I love you, but I don't like you. That's fucking stupid. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around?
Well, when you first start dating, but you shouldn't date your own daughter.
I don't have one, so it's alright.
Clear.
No, I just.
Well, tell that to what is it? Tell that to Woody Allen.
Ugh. No, I just.
So, Aaron, what about you? Can you think, you could love somebody but not like them?
Yes. Yeah, you can love somebody but not want to be around them.
Yeah. Now, should we talk about how love is actually a chemical reaction within the body that can be countered through logic?
Yeah.
And hold on, let me read Jules' thing here. Physical Physical therapy recommended rehab before he comes home. Told him he can't come home until he can walk the length of the house. Like that idea, Jewel. I need him to be well enough to leave him alone while, yes, absolutely, get to the bathroom, get back again. Absolutely smart thinking, Jewel. See, here's my thoughts on and I'll start with what Trin said. You should love your child no matter what. You can love them, you don't have to like them. I also want to put respect in there. For example, with my mother, when I stopped respecting her, I have a problem liking someone I cannot respect. It doesn't take a lot to get my respect. It's pretty much take care of your shit, and I'm good with you. And when it comes to love for me, and maybe this is something that'll help, is defining that.
Well, on that thing, I had a high school teacher, senior, I think, and she was like, "Love is trust, trust is love," that kind of thing, and it goes in hand with the respect thing.
Right.
Now, the cats around the house, the cats trust you; they're your guardian figure for them,
They
and if
don't
the cats
respect
love you,
us,
they hang
though.
around near you.
I don't.
But
If
they're
they
cats.
don't, they just freaking won't go near you.
Yeah, but they're cats, so they don't respect us ever.
No, they don't respect you at all.
They
But
were,
you also feed them.
yeah,
They love you because you feed them.
right, and they respect us because we have that little can in our hand full of food. So,
Well, they respect you because you're bigger than them.
Well, not always.
Well, keep in mind, they also have 20 pointy little things and a lot of teeth. So they don't really respect you, and they see that we sleep a lot longer than they do. So they think, yeah, I could take them out if I really tried.
a
Well, I
lot
think
longer in one stretch.
They I don't know if they respect us, but they kind of they're our prisoners.
Now, our cats absolutely adore us. I mean, they follow us room to room and they meet us at the door. But going back to the human part of things, what I was saying with, you can love somebody without liking them, I totally disagree. To me, with love, it means you kind of adore somebody, you want to spend time with them. And by the way, I'm taking love out of any kind of sexual context.
Oh, check.
Okay?
That's
When,
two separate things.
so when I'm like, I love Aaron, because Aaron and I have great fucking time when we hang out. I look forward to it. We laugh a lot. We talk about interesting things. Fucking great. The same with Ed or Kevin or any of the tavern folk. There's a reason they're invited on the show, because they're kind of my besties. As much as an adult actually has such a thing. But when it comes to somebody I don't like, I don't want to spend time with them. As Aaron talked about trust, I definitely don't trust them. There's a reason that I don't like them. And I have had siblings, my own mother, etc., who I have cut out of my life because I kind of associate it with if every time you go to walk home and somebody's like, hey, I got a shortcut, come check this out, or a regular cut, just, it's a different place, come this way, and you walk into that little alley and they punch you in the face and take your wallet. Well, it was somebody you knew, you trusted them. And next time they're like, hey, come on down this alley, and they punch you in the face and take your wallet. Why you keep your wallet on your face is weird, and I don't know, but they do this.
Well, no, and to segue on that, you can dislike people. Okay, not you can dislike somebody without not trusting them. You disagree with them, things like that. You can have differences of opinion, whether it's nuanced or otherwise.
Right.
The classic Republican or Democrat dichotomy, and you just disagree about something, and not like somebody because of opinions they have, and not want to be around them. But you can still love them because even though you just disagree with them.
So you think it's possible to love somebody but not like them?
Oh yeah.
I don't like a lot of people.
And do you love them though?
I don't know them that way. No, another thing that gets me with this unconditional.
And Trin wants to know what you're making, by the way.
I have no idea. I just grab some yarn and I'm knitting.
Okay, unconditional thing.
They say you have to love your family unconditionally. I think that's bullshit. Because why do you have to unconditionally love and respect someone that you were thrown together with instead of the people you choose to be with? So they're saying unconditional for your family, but everybody else is negotiable. No. I think everybody's negotiable.
Well, let's talk about this as a couple. Now, Andrea and I, we'll talk about us in particular in a moment, but I want to include Aaron, so I'm going to include him first and we can ignore him afterwards. So with your wife, who you proposed to after knowing her for 5 days, is that correct?
Correct.
And you have now been together for what, 12 days?
It will be 20 years. We will have been married 20 years in December.
So, been together how long then? I mean, how long did you know each other before you got married? Because you proposed
6 days.
after 5 days.
Wasn't it 6 days?
It will be 20 years and 6 months.
Okay, so there we go. So, for the worth of the entertainment value of that story, but is your relationship 20 years strong, unconditional?
Fuck no.
So what kind of conditions? And here's what I'm going to point out to the viewers. You hear people talk about, oh, that's a deal breaker. And usually it's on a fucking dating site. But you give them a year into a relationship and people are dancing all over their goddamn deal breakers and they ain't doing anything about it. So this is kind of where I'm looking at. What's a deal breaker for you, Aaron? What conditions do you have on your relationship?
Shit, we've been married. We've been together and married so long that they don't come up. But
Right. Well, what
I
did
mean,
Emmy do that would make you go, nope, we're done?
probably kill a hobo in front of me.
So in secret or not
Has
in
to
front
be
of you
behind you, right?
and asking you to help move the body, that's okay, but directly in front of you?
I mean, unjustified. I mean, if he deserved it, probably okay.
Maybe
But I
punched
mean,
you in the face
if I
and took
found
her
out she was
wallet.
just serial murdering
Okay.
for fun and profit and didn't include me, or at least ask me if I wanted to participate. I mean, I don't, but she needs to
Well,
at
in
least
the
offer.
She
profit
needs
part,
to give you the option. Yeah, I get it.
Right.
I'll support your hobbies, but I do want in if they look like fun.
Right.
Especially if they're turning $1. Because that hobo had a lot of wallets from punching people in the face.
Well, don't exclude me.
Okay. So ignoring you is what I'm hearing here.
Well, yeah, that's one of the big ones.
Okay. You got anything else, or you want me to give you a minute to mull it over and come up with stuff? So what about you, Andrea? What's a deal breaker?
I'd say the big thing is cheating. Because if you don't want me, tell me. Okay.
Yeah. Now, with other
Well,
people,
secrecy would be the biggest thing.
right?
It wouldn't even be cheating. It would be the secrecy behind the cheating more than anything else.
See, I get what you're saying here. Let me expand on this thought. See if I'm going in the right direction.
I'm a one-person person, and you want another person, and you can have them. I need to go.
No, no,
We
I
can be
absolutely get that.
and that's the way I'm wired also. But I'm not judgmental. If I have two friends that are like, "Oh, we talked about it," and the other one's going to go out and get laid, and I'm cool with it, then I'm cool as long as you're both okay with it. And
each
no,
their own. I don't care. It's not my
so
place to say.
but then
so.
it's no longer cheating because the secrecy has been taken away.
Right.
Now it's an agreement that this is how things are going to work, and everybody's cool with it. Okay. So cheating. Anything else?
Don't kill anybody in the house. I ain't cleaning that shit up.
Oh no.
Don't make that kind of.
For me, I have a few deal breakers. And cheating is
that's
one.
the main one.
Secrecy, the ignoring me, absolutely. What it boils down to is abuse. Yes, physical abuse, indeed. Please do not beat the crap out of me. But also don't take advantage of me. Now, if you're sick, or you worked all day, or you just having a day where you don't want to, sure, let me do all the things. I'll cook dinner, clean up, whatever. But if every day Andrea comes home expecting me to have cooked and cleaned and worked just as much as her, and totally ignores me, and I'm just a servant around the house, that is abuse. It's not direct
No,
abuse.
it's a partnership.
Right. Go on with that thought, Aaron.
It's a partnership and a fairly even one. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to sway one way and another, depending on the day, the month, the year, whatever.
Well, also,
sometimes it's going to...
Andrea does
go ahead.
all the laundry.
And he does the yard work.
And I do the cat boxes. Except for her one private cat box that she likes to use when nobody's looking. That's all hers.
Right. Hey,
so,
we ain't here to judge.
That's the balance. It's if something is unbalanced in one area, well, another area should create the balance. So,
Right.
So go on, Aaron. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
Yeah, no, but it all sways back and forth, and it's one of those. Emmy does the budget, but I do most of the cooking, things like that.
And spending.
She makes more than I do.
Nice. I'd ask you about that, but not on Aaron, only because I'm looking at these new jobs and I'm curious to compare.
Well, he does most of the cooking because I'm lazy. I'd rather not eat.
Yeah, she'll eat out of a box. Make a pre-made mix.
Not the cat box, though.
Stays crunchy in milk. Where I genuinely enjoy cooking and like doing it, so I'm perfectly okay with
I will
that.
go buy all the food. Don't make me cook that shit.
That is another thing. When we first got together, I was definitely making more than her, and I was paying for most of the things. But the past couple years, she has been making more than me as I try to launch the books, as I try to get the stream going, as I'm working part-time jobs. And when we go out, she is almost always paying. And that's just a fact. And she has never bitched about it.
No, I want to do it, so I'll pay for it. I don't give a shit. When you
Well,
make
no,
more money, you pay for it.
Next week.
Well, some of the times is one of those. I started off as the breadwinner, but then it's one of those as I started working farther and farther away.
Is that what they give you for those races?
Bread.
Bread?
You win the bread.
Well, yeah, and then you put it on your cat, and then you got inbred cats.
No.
Go on with your story, what you were saying there.
Okay. No, but, I mean, at one point, I was driving from here to the Verizon complex, which is past Dulles Airport. It was a 4-hour-a-day commute. Oh, right. On a good day.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's barring any accidents.
Is
Hither and
that
yon.
each way or?
No, total 2 hours.
No.
That's still a lot.
Yeah. I'd go from Stafford down 234 until I got past Dallas Airport and then come back in the evenings.
Right. So,
And
okay, Trin
yeah,
says still here, just engaged by the conversation. Awesome.
Cool.
You're good. Or intrigued. It's
yep.
missing a letter, but anyway, go on.
But yeah, so
What's the point of
after
working at
that,
Verizon?
it's I got laid off by Verizon, and then I ended up working for Nick. Well, I made less,
Nick's
but
Nick's Heating and Cooling, Stafford, Virginia. They're in the book.
yep.
The Facebook.
I made less, but I got back an extra 4 hours a day with the
Right.
family, and I was able to cook and do all those other little things, and all that, the time and things.
See, that's something I've often said in life. There's three priorities. There is what makes you money to supply your housing, of food, etc. So let's say job, your moneymaker. There is family. So, and that could be family, friends, carousing,
Cats.
whatever, cats, exactly. And the last thing is your creative outlet, your hobbies. So that could be going to the Renaissance Fair or playing golf, or it could be watching Netflix or buying video games. Yarn.
Lots of
Screaming.
yarn.
So these are your three priorities in our modern society that you juggle in life. And you have to put them in a certain order. Now, that order can change depending on what you're doing and how life is. I have always put family first until recently. As my son got older and he's not around as much, I'm able to shift that. Now, I tried putting the creativity first, and frankly, that's not making enough money. I want more money to pay more bills and, be able to do more creative stuff. So now I'm shifting, the money making into the lead, and hopefully not ignoring family too much and loved ones. I haven't got it yet, so you can't say yes yet. You have to wait till I'm out of the house more. But yeah, it's that time with the people. It's like the Italians there. I don't know if you know anything about Italians.
I do. A little bit.
Yeah. They every 40 years or so they try to take over the world.
Well, only by proxy, only by association. So anyhow, I think it's the Italians. It might be the French. One of them is like you can either eat to live or you can live to eat. And I think that's the Italian. Trent says family for me is never first. Freedom and hobbies are first, work is second, and family is last. And Trent, that's fine. What were you going to say? You took a breath. I thought you were going to talk.
I was breathing. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, stop with the breathing thing. It's really distracting. But, Trent, that's great. That's fine. And in the future, like I have, you might shuffle those back and forth like Aaron did when he was spending an 8 or 10 hour workday plus a 4-hour commute. He was out of the house 12 to 14 hours a day for work 5 days a week.
5:30 a.m. till 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Such bullshit, by the way. Good for you for doing it, and if that's what you wanted, absolutely more power to you. For me, in my world, that is horrible. And I have done it before, by the way. When I worked for DMV, and I was commuting up to, Springfield, Tyson's Corner, Alexandria, and I was living down in Spotsylvania. I had an hour and a half commute each way on top of the 9-hour day. So I was out of the house 12 hours. And I'd still come home and cook or help the kids with their homework or whatever. And so, yeah, it's you got to choose your priorities. And if you are working so much you don't get to enjoy life, maybe it's time to rearrange those.
Well, see, I could work more. I work a lot right now. But if you're working all the time and you don't have time to spend, I'd rather have less money and more time because I don't need all the cool brand new things.
Well, no, and
That's just me.
I mean I've become a minimalist over the years because of that. It's just stuff. Me and Emmy have switched into we'd rather have the experiences than the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my dream of how I'd like my life to be. I'd like to be able to go on a trip a month. Now, most of those will be a day trip. Basically, drive somewhere, spend 6 or 8 hours there, drive home the same day.
And we've done that.
Right, we've gone to Philly and did that.
Yep.
But I'd also like 3 times a year to make a week-long trip somewhere in the U.S. And I'm not talking about, Disney World, though Disney World could be in that pile, but maybe Yellowstone Park or the Grand Canyon, or just drive.
Can we go to like Louisiana where they got food and just eat for a week and then come back?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the kind of trips we're talking about. And once a year, be able to take an international trip. And I'm not talking first class where we spend $2,300 each for an airplane ticket.
That would be nice, though.
And then $300 a night for a hotel. But anyhow, so this is what I'd love to do. What we're looking at here is 8 day trips, 3 week-long national trips, and then 1. So you got to make time for why are you earning money? And if you're in the biggest house you can be in, and you have the best car and the biggest TV, but you only have 3 hours a day to spend enjoying all your stuff, What about those people that you love unconditionally? They're just using your shit when you're not looking.
Yeah, no.
I'm just going to give you a chance to say something else after that.
No, that's all I have to say is yeah, no.
Okay. So with unconditional love, and did we finish the thoughts of deal breakers?
Well, really, for me, would it be anything of the secrecy, abuse, neglect would be a big thing.
Well,
if I get to where I complain about Travis all the time, somebody tell me.
Yeah.
Because
I
see
will.
couples. I wouldn't do it too fast. No, but I see couples that bitch about their other half so much. It's like, well, why the fuck are you together? You don't want to spend time together.
No. I have a rule. I do not complain about my wife. I have a wonderful wife. She puts up with my bullshit. I do not complain about her.
You're not just saying this because she's bigger than you, right? And right there?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah.
She's actually not right here, but no. Friggin', why am I going to complain about somebody who has loved me for 20 some odd years?
Yeah, y'all actually like each other, and that's great.
I do. I love my wife.
Well, damn it. I'm only up to like 18. Fuck, 2 more years before he has this feeling about me.
What?
He said, why would you complain about somebody who's loved him for almost 20 years?
No.
I try not to complain about people in general, though. It's one of those, most people are really, really nice.
And also, like I think you were on when I mentioned being offended. You know, if it's somebody who wants to piss you off and says something to offend you, why would you give them that power over you? And if it's somebody who cares for you and doesn't want to piss you off but has said something to piss you off, why are you going to take their words as something to upset you? So it boils down to never bother to be upset by what somebody said. It's just silly. And Aaron, you were leading in with something here. When we mentioned your... I think you mentioned, in the abuse area, you mentioned being ignored, but you used a different word here just a moment ago.
Neglect?
Neglect. Okay, neglect is a form of abuse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Especially parent to child. Ignoring your child and putting them in front of a TV. Trent, no, we'll just be going for an hour here, so another half hour and then we're done.
When I say neglect, now don't get me wrong, you got to give people the way to find their own thing.
Of course.
Now, we're generally, I've got a 19-year-old son.
Right.
We are not helicopter parents by any stretch of the imagination, as you have seen, because you've been there since Drake was born.
Yeah. I remember
go ahead.
A certain alligator hunter had a home version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, where a pregnant Emmy, as an alligator hunter, leapt across a room while pregnant, straight belly flopping onto her pregnant belly.
Well, she has something to land on. It's okay.
So this explains any issues that Drake has. Go on.
Well, no, but the kid's got a good work ethic. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's as lazy as any regular 19-year-old
Or a human being for that
is,
matter. Come on, fish.
or a human being, right? Well, but he sees Emmy and I. We get off work, come home, and relax, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if he goes to work, he works his ass off, and he understands that you get paid to work. It is a mutually beneficial relationship. Oh,
Right.
they get work out of you, and he gets money out of them.
Trin, what can you justify? In that sentence, I can justify that. Because you typed that right after I said if a parent sticks a kid in front of a TV or a video game, and I was going to go on to say, and ignores them, and doesn't interact with them for all of their childhood, this is neglect. This is avoiding your responsibility as an adult of giving interaction to your child. Now, Aaron, on your side, there is a point where you have to, like with Aiden when he was younger, I'd be like, okay, let's play together. Now, fuck off and go to your room and do something. Have a good time without me. Because you got to learn, as a human being, a social creature, to be by yourself. It's healthy.
Self-reliance.
Right. Well, also just be able to entertain yourself.
People can't do that anymore. That's why, and they can't do it without electronics. I think that's a lot of problems today.
Well, there's an author, or there's a psychologist, Jordan Peterson, and he gets about 50-50 good rap, bad rap kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he says one of the major goals of the first 2 years of life is to properly socialize your child. Okay? Your number one goal as a parent is not to let your child do anything that is going to make you dislike your child. Okay? Well, and the reason being is if you've taught your child to socialize in a way that you like them, you're doing okay. And
Right.
the phrasing of you want to be invited back to the party. You want your child to constantly be invited to these things.
Mm-hmm.
They're properly socialized. Back when we were kids, the most popular kid in school was the sports guy or whatever. Now, the most popular kid in school is the nicest kid. And he may also be those things, but
I don't know if I'd agree
it's
with
shifting.
that, but go on with your thought.
Well, it's kind of shifting. You start seeing the communal kind of shifting, and it goes from who is it? I believe it was Glenn Beck who introduced me to the book. It was
let me read Trin's comment real quick.
Okay.
Trin says, my birth mother always slept because she was a druggie and locked me in my bedroom all day, every day, and I rarely ate. I would be lucky if I ate a meal a day. Trin, in response to that, in my childhood, I was what they called a latchkey kid in the 80s. Basically, by age 7, I had a key on a chain around my neck. My mother worked all night, slept all day, interacted with me for about an hour a day until I was old enough to cook and do my own laundry, which means age 9 or 10. And at that point in time, even that interaction was minimalized. So, and this is not to compare it to yours. It's just saying there are many ways to ignore your child and many reasons. And usually it's not because of your child, it's because of you if you're ignoring a child. Aaron, what were you saying about Glenn Beck?
Okay, so Glenn Beck introduced a book called The Pendulum, okay?
Mhm.
And it talks about generational cycles, okay? They've got what's called the we generation and the me generation.
Right.
Me generation is predominantly capitalism. The we generation is predominantly kind of a socialism, and they're on a 80-year cycle, 40-year up, 40-year down. And we're currently going into, and they're split Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere.
And they're opposite each other?
They are. So the Eastern Hemisphere is currently going into a me generation. Western Hemisphere is going into a we generation.
Really?
And so they're going...
Okay, I guess the me generation would have started in the late 60s. So now,
Yep.
yeah. Um, and 40 years, of course, an approximation, not necessarily like clockwork. Nope, turn happened. There's a shift, a change.
Well, they're a cycle, so they gotta go
Right.
up and
40
then they
years
go
ago
back
was the
down.
70s.
Right, that's why I say started, but also the we generation, you can say it started with, we complain about millennials and they always want socialism and help. That would be the beginning of the we. Now, of course, it still has to be refined and honed, so it's not just, because a lot of that millennial we generation stuff actually still feels very much me because they feel self entitled. And you offended me. No, you offended yourself. I just said some shit.
Right.
So yeah, it's not necessarily a definitive thing and all that. Go on there, Aaron.
Well, but you start getting into patterns of thought as well.
Are you collecting the set?
Mhm.
Are you collecting the set?
Of cats, yeah.
Gray cats. Go on.
But you get into kind of patterns of thought about how people react to each other as well. Um, One of the big ones is how team sports are organized,
Mm-hmm.
um, where you end up with a star player and the supporting backfield, or you end up with a very team-oriented sport where you've got to fill out the entire team and it doesn't have a star player.
Like soccer.
Right. Modern soccer. Whereas if you go back to the 1970s, you had your Pele. You had one guy that was kind of center stage.
But I don't think that was a position that is center stage. Like a quarterback is a center stage position. He was
Right.
Pele was just a star. He was the Michael Jordan
He was just
of
really good.
soccer. Because
Well, he was. But during that era, you had a bunch of kind of guys, and there was one or two of them per team, and they were kind of the alpha players of each team.
it's probably just marketing at that point.
Well, that was really kind of the beginning of it in then, but it's kind of faded away.
Except in basketball. Well, actually, it has faded in basketball also. I don't hear about the star players the way we did 10 years ago or more.
Right.
Well, is it basketball season?
No, it's soon. Soon?
We're in football season right now.
Basketball season, I know it ends in March with March Madness. Let's see here. Let me Google when does a basketball season start? That is a big list and doesn't help me. There are games going on right now. What months are basketball season?
I think March Madness is the beginning. Isn't it? Because they have to pick everybody.
82 games.
Basketball's got like 100 games in the season, so it's
No.
real hard to.
No,
82.
October to April.
So it's
Okay.
just getting ready to start.
82 games in 6 months for the regular season beginning on the last week of October to April of the following year. That's why March Madness is essentially your finals, building up to the final. Now, that being said, there is preseason games going on right now. So there's our thing about basketball, to
It's October
sideline
now.
that shit. It is, but the season doesn't start till end of October.
Oh, well.
They just have preseason games going on, just like they did in football in August. God, it's got to be hot to play football in August. Oof.
Well, if you're getting $2 million a game, I think you just
I
sweat
drink.
through it.
Unless they're playing in the attic, then no. Aaron and I were talking
I'd sit
about
on
that.
the bench and watch it. Yes, I
So anyhow, do you want to finish your thought there, Aaron?
No, I just throwing that out there as one of those just patterns of thought.
Mm-hmm.
It shifts. It's kind of like friggin' bell bottoms go away, and then you get skinny jeans, and then bell bottoms come back, and then you get skinny jeans
Okay,
again.
bell
I hate
bottom.
skinny jeans. I can't find any jeans that fit me.
So let's talk about
It's okay.
this.
Wait 10 years, you'll get bell bottoms again,
Hold on, what?
or boot cut.
I was gonna say stuff about, you ignore your kid and.
Jewel, we will.
wait. What was I? All right, it was to play on his thought of if you teach your kid how to socialize well,
Mm-hmm.
you like them. Here's my problem. Not that. That's a great thought. You can't ignore your damn kid and not teach them and say make good choices and get pissed when they don't make good choices. If you don't teach them how to make good choices, they don't fucking know. That's all.
That's also leading by example, as Aaron was saying, with, you come home, your kid sees this, etc. And Jewel, to expand a little more, Jewel says, I'm having to mute because the nurses are coming in. Post this as a video I can watch later. Absolutely will, Jewel. As soon as we click stop streaming, it is available for you to rewatch. So, and Trin says, preach. So, yeah, you have to guide your children and your friends, your peers, and your superiors too. This is how our government is in theory supposed to work. If our government is going off the rails, as the masses blow it, we're supposed to guide them back to what we want. And our example as a society should influence how our government works.
And that's on a much larger scale.
Much.
But as far as at home,
Mm-hmm.
You are like the people you are around.
Yes.
Well, you are a composite of your 5 closest friends.
Yeah. And do I have 5? I might only have 5.
We've got 10.
How the fuck
There's
did that
3
happen?
sleeping in front of you.
Well, that's why I need to shave my legs all the time. No, but you are.
I think it's the Italian genes.
As long as they're not skinny jeans.
You are like the people you're around the most. So if you're around people that are mean or only out for themselves or what have you, you're going to be like that. But if you're around people that want to lift other people and help them in their success and be successful and be positive, then you're going to be that way.
And let me point this
Well,
out. You
go
could
ahead.
change your friend base also. So if you suddenly realize you're not who you want to be, quickly take a look at the group around you and consider totally changing who you're around.
I've done that.
Because that will influence you as you influence others. Aaron?
There's a great video by Ty Lopez, The Power of 33%. And he talks about, hey, split up your friend base if you're looking to kind of build a mentorship, okay? And a third of people that you want to raise up, a third of people that you want to raise you up, and a third for peers, okay? And the idea is, hey, you've got to kind of stay grounded with your peer group. And those are the people that you're building upon each other. The third that are kind of below you, okay, that are still advancing, these are people that you're teaching things that you've learned because this reinforces all these lessons that are out there for you.
Like we're doing
And then
now
there's-
on this stream.
Yep. And then you also want to engage with people above you because these are the mentors that are going to teach you things that you never knew.
If I could read Jewel's comment, she says, I'm the shy friend until I get comfortable with you. Jewel, you're a lot more than the shy friend. You're very kind. You're very caring. You give a damn about people. You're giving and supportive. So there's a lot more than just shy. And you do this while still being shy. You do this quietly from the sidelines. Andrea and I have seen this, and we've recognized it in you. And so with that, maybe it's the other people's job to come to you and not drag you out into the limelight, but just
Be like, there it is.
give you a little nod, give you a little wave, a little smile, and let you know it's okay. And when you're ready, we'll bullshit on. Because that's what we do.
Well,
Yeah.
think about Pooh Bear and Eeyore, okay? One of the cool things about freaking Pooh's Corner and all that stuff was they always offered to let Eeyore come with them.
Mhm.
All right? He didn't always go. Often he said no, thank you. But they always offered. No, not today. Okay. And then the following day, they go, hey, you want to come with us? No, not today. But they always offered. They were aware of it. They always offered.
Booberry says, Trin. The cereal?
Winnie the Pooh. Christopher Robin.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
So here's what we got 15 minutes left in the topic. I want to ask, have either of you ever cut people out of your love that other people would say you should have unconditional love for?
Yes.
Who and why? And you don't have to be specific if you don't want to. You know, you can be generalized on this one.
It was very toxic for me. It was, I guess, a mind fuck abusive,
Mm-hmm.
where I didn't like the person I was becoming around them. So just, no.
So how did you cut them out?
Oh, I just, no more contact, no more, just left.
So many people don't understand what you just said
Well,
right there. I
and-
get it, but so many people are confused. What do you mean? No more
I
contact?
got rid of Facebook.
Oh, that helps.
Because that made everything too accessible. Got rid of Facebook, deleted numbers out of my phone, just stopped.
Here's the bottom line. It's exactly like she said. If you have somebody that is toxic and or abusive, Jewel says, I'm Eeyore. My parents called me that as a pet name. Then they pinned a tail on her and shoved her outside with the bear.
Oh no.
I've seen the ones.
But a lot of times, if you stop taking abuse and stop dealing with that, they're not going to come back for you.
Right.
Especially if you're the one that's always initiating things and.
Well, that's how bullies work.
Yeah.
If you stop paying into the bully circle, they stop coming around.
Yeah,
'cause
so
they're not
it
getting
really
what they need.
wasn't that hard. With some people, it was just.
Yeah, the people that want the control and the power over
Yeah.
others. What about you, Aaron? Have you ever done this?
Not really. It's just one of those. I like to be freaking just generally upbeat, but I let negative people just go away. They tend to just fade off into the background.
Why? Why would they fade off at that point instead of before?
But
And I have a few thoughts on this if you don't have anything.
I don't think they want to be around positive people.
I think you also stop feeding into whatever it was they were negative about. If you stop
Oh, I'm not.
commiserating,
Yeah, I don't.
sympathizing, Jules says, thank you, Trent. Jules says, I had to cut off one of my childhood friends. I've had to do the same. I have also cut off family members because every time I interacted with them, one in particular would always ask for money. It was the end of every conversation. Couple $100.
is that how you do it?
That's how they try. The other thing is just negative people who just want to be miserable. And, you know, you try to be supportive to your friends and the people around you, and you're like, hey. But once you realize this is their choice in life, they are choosing to be.
Miserable or whatever.
Yeah. And now we all struggle at given moments with not being miserable. We all have. Gary says, let me guess who that was. Go ahead, Gary. I'll say right out who it was. And it may or may not be the person you're thinking of, but.
And it's not, I'm sure it's not cutting someone off because they're miserable and they had a bad day, a week,
No.
or whatever. This had to have been over a long
Right.
period of time, yeah.
Right, and they get borderline abusive with how much they're taking from you. If somebody will not take, it always leads back to this with me, personal responsibility. Personal responsibility and accountability in your own life is of ultimate importance. If you expect everybody else to do everything for you, including and possibly especially make you happy, you're doing it wrong. You can't live life expecting everybody else to create your content. You have to create the content in your own life.
No one can make you happy other than yourself. Other
Right.
people can help reinforce the happy, but they can't make you happy.
And I do want to make clear, happy, in general, happy is a up peak. Depressed is a low peak. Most of life should be in the middle. Content. Content is a decent word for it. There's other words too, and I can't think of them right now. Anybody got one?
I'm not a thesaurus, sir.
That's good.
Okay. Content. Where you're
That's right.
comfortable.
She's not a dinosaur.
You're relaxed. You're comfortable. You're content. That's how most of life should be, whether you're going to work or not. But it's a mindset. Now, we all have those days where we're just angry for no great reason or
I have those
bummed.
days.
And then there's other days we're fucking happy, just having a good day,
I have those days.
right? And this is age old stuff. I got out. I got up on the wrong side of the bed. It happens. You just have a day for some reason. Something's wired in you where you're not great that day. But most days you're like, it's all good. See, I love the content days. I love the happy days also. And there are days, like today, I was very upbeat. I've gotten so little sleep the past 3 days. And I have a lot of shit going on in my life. But today, I was on a... And by the way, the hell was that noise? Aaron's reconnecting.
Oh, I thought he was just listening. Are we still on?
Aaron, you there?
Oh,
Welcome
I'm
back.
here. Can you see me?
Yeah, we're back now.
You were just
Oh,
frozen. We thought you were listening.
You were frozen
Oh, I
and,
was listening.
and Skype
Oh,
was
okay.
making some noises. UFOs.
That's what it sounded like.
Jules says pursuit of life, liberty, and minor lechery. Whatever makes you happy. I think it's important to realize, be responsible for your own life. I've often said, you have a choice in life. You can be the hero of your story or the victim. And choose carefully. If you're a victim, you're expecting everybody else to save you from your problems.
I'm the narrator.
If you're the hero, every day you're fighting to move forward. Sometimes just a little bit, and it's an easy fight. Other days, it's a struggle. Jules said that. Gary says, that noise was a submarine, of course. What's wrong with you anyway? Trent says it freaked her out a little bit.
Why are we in a submarine? What the hell?
I am reading an audiobook on the way to and from work. Oh, God, one of the worst narrators ever. But it's an Edgar Rice Burroughs book. And it's interesting, considering the era it was written in. It's the land time forgot.
Oh, okay.
And it's interesting to hear some of the theories on dinosaurs. For example, he basically describes an Allosaurus, the way it moved in his book, and keep in mind he's a sci-fi writer from over 100 years ago, it bounced like a kangaroo.
Okay.
Little less terrifying when the Allosaurus comes at you like oink, oink, oink.
Oh, I need to talk to you about some audiobooks. Isn't there Robert Aspirin audiobooks?
Yeah, Aaron is going to help us out with that.
I am trying to track them down still.
It's great, Aaron.
It's so
Thank you.
awesome. I can't listen to that while I drive, though.
Trin, yeah, that's all you have to do is try to be a hero. Gary, very well done. Bouncing behemoths. With your life, guys, it's a simple matter of just do something every day. Doesn't have to be big. Sometimes, some days, it's as simple as getting up and showering.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Toey,
Hi, Toey.
thank you. 3
Talking
months.
to he just subscribed. Here's to you. Great bouncing dinosaurs. 3 months already.
Bouncing dinosaur.
There we go. I popped in Toey's stream earlier. Let's make sure we get a shout out for Toey. Trin, can you do a little shout out for Toey? Let's let everybody know
that
about her
haunted
channel.
house thing was really cool. I
Yeah.
want to live there.
I wanted you to put a stream of smoke or gas coming out of the thing on the side of the building so it looks like every time he pops up, he farts. Okay. Enjoy your ice cream run. We're out of here in 5 minutes anyway, Jules, so you won't miss a whole lot, and it will be up so you can watch it afterwards. Thank you. Not for me for talking Toey, Trin, but thank you for the shout out for us here
Silly.
now.
Silly Tran.
As I think she's just used to typing this. So, thank you, Trin. Appreciate that. Andrea, any closing thoughts on this topic? Unconditional love is bullshit. Anything we've talked about tonight, or anything new?
No, that was it.
Aaron,
You said it.
closing thoughts for you? Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Love is wonderful. Love is gentle. When it's new, it's a hot burning fire. Over time, it becomes those glowing coals and embers.
That keep you warm.
That's right, all night long. All night long. But besides that, don't accept abuse in your life in any form, from yourself or from others. there are other places where there's not abuse. And the longer you stay in a cycle of abuse, the more you think it is normal, if not required. And you can break that cycle at any point in time. You might have to make tough choices to get out of it, choices that you don't think you want. But trust me, as scary as it is, it will be better when you are in a healthy place instead of a place of abuse. So, that's my closing thoughts on that. We got 5 minutes.
Well, keep going.
Gary, just so you know, the people I cut out of my life, I have cut out my own mother because of the abusive nature of our relationship, as well as, it wasn't just me, she did that too. She did that to a lot of people. And it wasn't aggressively abusive, very passive abuse. I have cut out other friends who are not necessarily abusive as much as toxic.
I've quit jobs because of it.
I have also, yeah.
Because no matter what, there's other jobs out there.
There is. I have had a friend who I had known for decades who I ghosted him. I basically just let him fade away, as you mentioned, with other people who...
Yeah, because, they don't try.
Well, it was a pathological liar, and I couldn't... There was no... There you go, Trin. Trin, I'm going to put my nose where it doesn't belong. Be careful with that new job because of who you're surrounding yourself with, okay? I don't want to talk more about it on air unless you want to, but in general, you've given me a few details, and there's red lights going off for me. There's warning signs. So just be smart, because we care, and we want to see the best for you. I'm not saying don't do it, by the way. Absolutely fucking do it. It's the age where you could bounce around, try different things, and it might work out awesome. Just be aware, that's all. Eyes open. That's all. So, I've just let other people slip away that I've known for decades, more than one person. So Gary knows one of them, another friend in North Carolina who is slowly committing suicide via alcohol and drug abuse. And anytime he got something good, he wrecked it by returning to those habits.
I know people like that.
Yeah, I think for the most part, a lot of us have known people that, and maybe it's not drugs or alcohol, maybe it's video games. They won't even leave their house because they're stuck on this video game, or they won't attempt a social aspect to life because of an electronic pacifier. And it might be Netflix, it might be video games, it might be porn, which is electronic now as opposed to...
Yeah, it is, ain't it?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to freaking wood porn, where you freaking find porn in the woods?
Oh.
Oh.
No. We're not talking about woodpeckers.
Wood porn. Yeah. It's right next to that dead body near the creek.
Okay.
Or is that just me?
That hobo that your wife took out of... Who took her wallet that first time she went down that alley. Anyhow, guys, thank you for joining us. This was us talking about...
Unconditional love?
Thank you. I had unrequited in my head. Unconditional love is bullshit. There's always conditions attached to a healthy relationship. There's a level of expectation of give and take and balance. And it's very important in every relationship, from interpersonal ones to professional ones, like hookers. There's a balance and exchange there. Found a good tape of Three's Company porn in the trash, Peter. Nice,
What?
Gary. Gary says, I found a good tape of Three's Company porn in the trash can, Peter North.
Wow.
I used to have one of Cheers. It was called Smears. Yeah, you had Slam Me Bone, and it's time for our outro music. Good night, guys. We'll catch you next time. We're going to dance our way out.
Discussion shenanigans tonight. You are the one thing that makes the show
Thank you
what
for all
it
the
is.
bits, everybody. I
Don't
appreciate
forget
it.
to join us at the tavern next
Keep
week.
us going.
Until then, have fun, keep learning,
We'll
and
catch
be
you
good
tomorrow,
to one
Trent.
another.
We should be a
Now,
little more
raise your
upbeat and
glass
chipper
of good
tomorrow.
cheer. Enjoy the small moments
Thanks
every
for
day.
stopping in, Toey.
And steamy dreams
Bye,
every day.
Joey. Bye, Fran. Bye, Gary.
Bye, Gary. Oh, for a second, I thought Aaron was making a ring.